From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Good Monday evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Open Line. I have Diane Dameron here with me this evening with Coach D Consulting. She's probably a familiar face to you if you watch Open Line or Morning Line or Talk of the Town or any of our shows. Diane's been on quite a lot. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
We are talking a great topic tonight that I'm passionate about, and I know you are really passionate about. And we're talking about health, healthy eating, healthy exercising, sleep, getting the proper nutrition, everything that falls under that big, broad spectrum of health. And spring is a great time to start thinking about it. Why?
Because it's kind of a time to spring cleaning your house, spring cleaning everything, and it's just a time to kind of take a new step in a new direction. And it's also time, we've kind of been cooped up in the winter weather, and maybe had a few months to let our New Year's resolutions slide, and so it's kind of just time to kick it into high gear and get something new started.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at January, when we're all focused on what are we gonna do this year that makes me better, and then by about February 1, we're like, okay, that didn't work out so well, forget that. This is a time to kind of reset and recharge and think, okay, how can I make these changes really a big part of my life, not just a New Year's resolution.
And that's a good word, the life, because I think it's a lifestyle change. I don't, I have a book called Don't Diet, Live It, and I think, New Year's resolution so many times implies diet or something that's a restriction, and that's why usually they don't last. So when you go into, a lifestyle change, it's something that is attainable and sustainable as well, so that, by the time the end of the summer is here, you're still incorporating even, better, newer lifestyle changes.
I can't wait to delve into this book, Don't Diet, Live It, and talk about different diets and why these diets aren't really the way to go. But really, if you have a question tonight, whether it pertains to dieting, nutrition, what should be part of your meal plan, when it comes to exercise, maybe how to target a certain part of the body that's just, you can't get in shape, call in. We'd love to hear from you tonight and have that conversation with you. The number is on your screen, 615-737+. I know I have a lot of questions myself for Diane, but let's get started. You have an interesting career path. I love this. You are an engineer by trade.
That's right.
But really a health nut by your heart and your passion. How did this all come about?
It's kind of a long story. As a teenager, luckily I was athletic, so I wasn't I wasn't as healthy as I should have been, but I was definitely overweight and always very self-conscious, and just not really happy with my body. And I went to college for two reasons. I went to college to play softball and for engineering, and so ended up, when I quit softball, I kind of just tried to find, I had dieted a lot as a teenager. You do that yo-yo dieting and nothing ever really stuck. And so during college, I actually lost 50 pounds in college.
Wow, that usually is not what people do in college.
No,
I put on the weight.
Yeah, the freshman 15 for me is actually the freshman 50. Well, it took me more than just the freshman year. But so anyway, so I got a civil engineering degree and went into corporate engineering and worked in corporate engineering for about 10 years. But during that 10-year process, on the side, and even like I would do the Biggest Loser programs at my engineering company, and it just kind of started, this love of helping other people and kind of showing them ways to do it. Every Monday I would bring in food to the office and, give them healthy lifestyle tips. There were a few guys that even lost, in my office, that lost over 20% of their body weight, and I would track that. And that's really what I started looking more forward to, the weigh-ins every Monday instead of
doing your job.
That's right. So anyway, so when in 2007 the economy kind of went bad, and it was something that I was very passionate about, and so in 2010 I left full-time engineering and started Coach D Consulting, and now I do both. I work with families and individuals and corporations and even some school systems. I did a thing in Williamson County the other day, and so just kind of helping people incorporate. Again, it's not about, I was overweight, yes, and it is about weight, but it's not just about weight. It's not about the way we look. It's about the way we feel, and knowing that if we make small changes now, 20 years from now, we'll be able to enjoy our kids and our grandkids that much better, and have more time with them if we eat healthy now.
And you're not just focused on exercise. This really is a whole body approach.
Exactly.
Tell me, what your services are offered.
Well, I do a whole range of things. You name it, I do it, from fitness to exercise, to nutrition, catering, all that kind of stuff. stuff. And again, you talk about it's not just a dieting. I do work a lot with kids as well, and so the approach it's what I call the nerd approach, which I think again, as an engineer, I always try to kind of put things in things where you're going to memorize things and remember them. So I came up with the nerd approach, which is nutrition, exercise, rest daily, and all of those things are incorporated very well into a healthy lifestyle change. You can't just diet and not exercise,
right?
And you can't exercise away a bad nutrition plan, and also you need rest. You can't, studies show that getting 4 to 6 hours of sleep actually puts on body weight and stresses us out. And it's not something that, these weekend warriors where you work all day during the week and then you try to work out on the weekends. That doesn't work either. It's got to be a daily thing. And it's something that I think, as adults and as parents, whether you have children or not, as adults, it's something that you need to model towards the next generation to say, you don't want to, as a parent or as an adult or as a teacher or anybody, to look in the mirror and say, oh, I'm fat, or I need to lose weight, or I need to go on a diet, and expect your child to not be influenced
They hear
by
it
that.
all and they take it all
That's
to
right.
heart.
And it works both ways, because you can't expect to say, I hate vegetables and I hate working out, and then to look at your kid and say, eat your vegetables. or so it's kind of a both way. You've got to be a good role model. And I'm not saying you can't have cake or pizza and all that, because life happens and nobody ever became overweight or obese on one piece of cake or on eating Easter
chocolate bunny or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you've got to enjoy life, and I think that's the whole part of people may have an ideal weight, but then there's also a healthy weight, and what does that mean? I think being healthy is being happy, and if I can't have a burger, I'm not happy.
Right. Right.
So
a couple of years ago, I think the hashtag started, the movement kind of started with women. It's healthy is strong.
Yes.
And it's not about being skinny.
Right.
It's about being strong.
Strong is the new skinny.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah. And I've definitely started, lifting weights a lot more and doing all that. And so many times people, especially women, are afraid that they'll get very big.
Yes.
We just don't have enough testosterone naturally to get really big. We would have to lift really heavy weights many hours a day to ever get super big. So yeah.
Let's dive into that nerd that you've come up with, and the first one is nutrition.
Yeah.
And this really is about fueling your body for what you need. It's about what you put in is really what you get out.
That's right. I think about nutrition as fuel. If you're putting fuel in your car, like I try to compare that with kids. Kind of that comparison of your vehicle, if your body was a vehicle. So let's say a vehicle runs on gas, on fuel, and if you were to put Kool-Aid or soda in your car, it wouldn't go very far. And our bodies are the same way. If we put a bunch of sugar and junk in the car, in our bodies, it's like a car. It's not going to go very far. And you just have to think about it. And again, this is something I have, nerd wristbands that I've made up, and I give them to all the kids. And it's colorful because it reminds you to eat the rainbow every day. So when you think about nutrition, you want to get not just brown and white food. And I think today our kids' textbooks today, our ancestors are called hunters and gatherers because that's how they got their food. And I think today's generation is, package openers and drive-throughers. That's
so
how
true.
Kids don't understand really where food comes from. And I think it's important to know that food can be colorful and it can be pretty and it can also taste really good. And unfortunately in the South, I think the color in vegetables sometimes gets, green beans are smothered in fat and usually cooked to death and they're mushy. And, a lot of times kids don't like vegetables because of that. So I think it's important to kind of incorporate, maybe some raw vegetables or, sugar snap peas or broccoli and, try them raw.
Sure.
And a lot of times because a lot of times it's a texture thing with kids.
And they'll like that crunch.
Yeah.
And you have some great ideas, snack ideas for kids, and a way to incorporate them into mealtime to make them excited about that. We'll get to more of that after the break. But again, if you want to call in tonight with your health and nutrition questions, exercise questions, we're going to do our best to get them answered tonight. So stay with us. Open Line continues next.